Welcome to this exclusive conversation with His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani. Many thanks, sir, and His Excellency, for talking to Republic TV. You've just had your meeting with Honorable Prime Minister. How did it go, and what were the deliverables, the high points of the meeting?
Well, the meeting went excellent with His Excellency the Prime Minister. We have discussed the bilateral relation between Qatar and India, which we have very strong and strategic tie between both nations. Also, we have discussed the latest events which took place in the region, and namely the Gulf crisis, which is happening right now in Qatar, and we explained for him the recent updates and the consequences of the escalation which was carried out by the four blockading country against Qatar. So it was a brief meeting, but was very fruitful in terms of result, and we highly appreciate the words which the Prime Minister has mentioned about his relation, the importance of the relation between India and Qatar, and between India and the region, of course, and also the position of India, which is highly appreciated, calling for dialogue and de-escalation, and expressing the importance of the Gulf region as one bloc.
Having said that, do you think you fear a certain kind of isolation when it comes to the ongoing battle between the GCC and Qatar? Because India has time and again reiterated its position of non-interference. Do you think that's going to have any sort of impact or bearing as far as India and Qatar ties are concerned?
Well, first of all, it's not a GCC and Qatar crisis, because they are not representing the GCC. Those are 3 countries out of 6 countries in the GCC, Saudi and Bahrain and Emirates. They have imposed these measures on Qatar based on a cyber attack, based on fabricated news, which is baseless, without any foundation, and we believe that at the end the right thing will prevail, and Qatar will become out of this crisis much stronger than ever. Regarding our bilateral relation, which is normally governed between the 2 countries and has nothing to do with the GCC, and we believe since the countries who are not taking any position against Qatar, we see no obstacles to develop this relationship further, and also we are looking forward to develop, because we highly appreciate the contribution for Qatar and for Qatar economy. In fact, India is a very important partner in the development of Qatar. They are our 3rd largest trade partner. We have the largest community in Qatar is the Indian community. There are 700,000 who are partner in the development of the state of Qatar, and they are contributing positively to that, and they are highly appreciated by the government of Qatar and by the people of Qatar.
So having said that, His Excellency, you're saying that there's going to be no impact as far as the Gulf blockade on Qatar and its impact on the 7 million Indians at least that are residing.
700,000. Actually, the total population of Qatar is 3 million.
So it'll be more than your own people living there.
Yeah, actually, they are double our own people.
I think we take it as a compliment.
Well, it is.
More Indians in Qatar. Sure. So basically, but then you see that there cannot be any impact.
No,
they're happy, they're safe.
Regarding the people who are living there in Qatar, the government is highly committed to their security, and that their life is not affected. The normal course of life went as usual on the next day of the blockade, where the government has ensured that the supply is ongoing. In fact, if Qatar wasn't blessed with resources and couldn't accommodate those differences in the prices, any population would live there would be affected by such a blockade. But as a government, we have contributed to, and we've been committed that the people are not affected, because first of all, they are our guests, and they are part of our society now. And especially when it comes to the Indian community, which has long history between us and them. Regarding the other aspect of the blockade, I believe that it is illegal. We have a humanitarian which is affected, the humanitarian life of the people of Qatar, the Qatari people, and the Gulf people whom we have intermarriages, and they've been forced separation because of this blockade. And we have people who are not able to continue their education, or people who are families who are not able to reunite together, where we have children are separated from their parents, or couples are separated because of this blockade, or people who are separated from their businesses. So this is the real impact from the blockade. Other than that, we are pursuing all the legal measures in order to lift those.
Indian diaspora is happy there, safe there.
Well, the social coherence in Qatar, especially after the crisis, has becoming much stronger, and we've been also surprised by the fact that the people, the expats community who are living there, they show a great solidarity, which is highly appreciated. And even the Emir has mentioned this in his only speech when he delivered for the people.
So basically this further, His Excellency, this further consolidates the relationship between India and Qatar.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the acquisitions on Qatar as far as terror funding is considered. You know, this is coming from Saudi Arabia, the whole inciting violence in Yemen, or perhaps Muslim Brotherhood. Why I'm asking this? Because we Indians and our Prime Minister, we have always reiterated zero tolerance as far as terror is considered, and we're very, very friendly with you.
Sure.
So how do you balance that?
No, actually, we are having the same policy, where we have zero tolerance with terrorists or terrorism who are convicted in terrorism financing. In fact, we have people who are already in trial, and they are prosecuted for
so what do you have to tell to Saudi Arabia? The
accusations of terror funding? They were baseless accusations, and everyone has realized that they have failed to submit a single evidence that Qatar is involved.
They're not comfortable with your proximity with Iran.
Well, our proximity with Iran, when it comes to a political relationship, because of to show solidarity with Saudi, when their embassy was attacked, we withdrew our ambassador. We just resumed our full diplomatic ties a few days ago, and where Iran was the only country which opened for us their skies, or otherwise Qatar will be in siege. But going back to the issue of terrorism financing, Qatar has never been involved in terrorism financing.
These accusations are false.
Those accusations are false. Actually, they have never submitted a single evidence. Now, for 80 days, they have failed to submit a single evidence.
Is this all rhetoric? Is it just to isolate?
It is actually a rhetoric, and it is for them, if they have any other purpose, where they are starting, because of their desperation now, they are starting to pay for TV commercials in order to publish against Qatar for 20 seconds, just to change the public perception that Qatar is financing terrorism. Why everyone know that Qatar has been the most progressive country among them.
So yes, Qatar. So you are also saying that, like India, you iterate zero tolerance as far as global terror is considered. What about then relationship as far as some countries who are tainted with terror? I'm not going to take any names here, but there are countries who still carry a terror taint on them.
Qatar has, as I told you, has zero tolerance with terrorists. When it comes to our relationship with different countries, all the countries we have a friendly relationship. Actually, they are part of the global coalition counter-terrorism. We know that they don't tolerate, and they are not involved in terrorism or terrorism financing. But if there is any proof that countries who have a relationship with terrorism, Qatar, of course, will revisit the position on
that's a big
such
thing
a
that you've said, His Excellency. You are going to revisit your position as far as those countries who are terror tainted.
Can you explain for me?
Who don't really enjoy a reputation being peace-loving nations. The nations like Pakistan, who have they are funding terror, the organizations, terrorism across the globe.
We have zero tolerance with any country which involve in terrorism, or accommodating terrorists, or incubating terrorists, or financing terrorists.
Okay.
Any country which we see that they have involvement in such an act, we are revisiting our position on that. Mentioning about Pakistan, for us, our relation with Pakistan is a friendly relationship, which we didn't see anything regarding this terrorism financing, and we hope that the peace and stability to be restored between all the countries in our wider region, because we have enough crises on our table right now, and we don't afford more.
Okay, one last question, His Excellency. Now, Qatar is also being seen as this oasis of liberalism. This is a kind of departure as far as the other Muslim nations or Islamic nations in the middle countries. They really don't enjoy. But when we talk about Qatar, you will be holding a Soccer World Cup next year. Al Jazeera is headquartered there. You know, so do you think there is a paradigm shift as far as the way world and the West in particular is looking at Qatar? More liberal and less conservative?
Well, Qatar has been, since 20 years, has been the most progressive country among the Gulf. We have been, we were the first which established an anchor media network like Al Jazeera. We are hosting 6 liberal universities in the country. We have a different religion they can practice freely there. We had the first church being built in Qatar. So Qatar has been progressing its own way, and we have our set of beliefs that our nation deserves such a progress, and we are committed to the same policy, and we are going to continue the same way. In fact, what happened to us is actually encouraging us to do more and to do it more in a more rapid way.
Lastly, it was a very, very brief visit to India. What is the one big thing that you're taking with you?
Well, the one big thing I'm taking with me, how lovely is this relationship between the two countries, and we are looking forward to develop it. We believe that India is a very important country which we need really to have much cooperation with, and we need to see more and to realize more Qatari investments in India and more Indian investments in Qatar.
Many thanks on that note for talking to
you.
Republic TV. His
Thank you.